Hello everyone, I hope you made it out here okay. My name is Omar Peoples. I'm a student at Appalachian State University, and I'm here today to give a talk about black crime. Dun dun dun. I know I heard some groans in the audience, but you don't have to worry. I'm not a white guy or a Republican, so this talk about black crime is not going to be the normal racist screed that people give about black crime. I'm here today to give I talk about black crime from a more progressive perspective because I feel that we only ever hear about it from conservatives who I feel are trying to demonize blacks and are distorting the issue. But anyways, a little bit about me. Like I already said, am a progressive. I was raised in a progressive background, a very race conscious background that tries to be very tolerant of other groups of people, races, and religions. My father was involved in several black activism movements, such as the United African Socialist Movement and the Black Panthers. Um, my mother is also very socially conscious, progressive, and anti-racist. So yeah, so today I'm going to give a talk about black crime from a progressive perspective. But first, let me lay out what I view as not what I view as, but what is the facts of systemic racism in this country, and then we'll talk about why conservatives either rationalize away, rejects, or just justify these factors of systemic racism. So, first of all, I want to talk about stop and frisk. Stop and frisk, of course, is a policy in New York allowing police officers to search someone just for no reason at all. Basically, you can just walk up to anybody and just search them for no reason. And of course, when you let police do that, what happens? They search pretty much only blacks and Latinos. So let me just go over some statistics real quick. In 2003, the NYPD stopped 160,000 people, and 87% of those people were innocent. 54% of those people were black. 31% of those people were Latino, and only 12% were white. Reminding you that black people are not 54% of New York City. And so that's a clear disproportionality there. And also the fact that 87% were innocent shows that the policy isn't actually effective. So continuing, in 2004, 313 stops were made by the NYPD. 55% were black, 32% Latino, only 10% white. So these numbers basically hold solid throughout the years. 2005, they stopped 398,000 people. 54% black, 32% Latino, 89% innocent, only 11% white. So that's a clear racially biased criminal justice system they have in New York. And most white conservatives justify this, and we'll get into that later. So another systemically racist aspect of our society is police shootings. So let me just first point out that police shoot about 1,000 people every year, which is a topic that could be a TED Talk in and of itself. How many people do you think know that statistic? That police shoot 1,000 people every year. That means in 3 years we have a 9/11. Every 3 years we have a 9/11 from cops, essentially, which is harsh framing, but it is true. 947 people have been shot and killed by police in 2018, according to the Washington Post. And by the way, why is this according to the Washington Post and not the police agencies themselves? Is because police don't keep track of shootings, the amount of people they shoot, or wrongful shootings. So it's done by media organizations like The Guardian and the Washington Post. So yeah, cops are killing 1,000 people every year. And also, these cop killings are highly racially disproportionate. So to illustrate how racially disproportionate police shootings are, I want to point out that unarmed people. I want to look at unarmed people that are shot by the police, because those people, you can't say, oh well, they deserved it, because in my opinion, I don't think anyone who's unarmed should be shot. So when we compare those who are shot while unarmed in white versus those who are unarmed and shot while black people make up a huge disproportionate amount of those shot by the cops who are unarmed. That shows that cops are using their discretion to decide if someone is a threat based on race. Yeah, and about 8% of those shot by the police are unarmed. So that means that about 80 to 100 people every year are unarmed and shot by the police. This obviously is an issue that disproportionately affects black people. So that's another aspect of our society that is systemically racist. I also want to point out that another racist aspect of our criminal justice system, which is incarceration rates. So I want to look at the statistics on federal prisons. And when we look at that, we see that, remembering that black people are only 13% of the population, but when you look at the percentage of people in the percentage of the inmates' races in federal prison, we see that Asians make up 1.5% of federal inmates. Black people make up 38% of federal inmates. Native Americans make up 2.3%, and whites make up 58%. Those numbers are extremely disproportionate, as black people's percentage of the population in free society is half of that of their population in federal prison, meaning that if you take 38% divided by 13%, it's a little bit over 2. So that's another thing that conservatives will often rationalize as being okay, because, oh, black people are criminals. So that's basically the myth I'm trying to debunk today, is that black people are more criminal because they're black. So I'll get into how conservatives rationalize some of these things now. So we see that conservatives, I just went over how black people in this country are systemically face racist policies, from stop and frisk to being shot while unarmed to being incarcerated at much higher rates. And black conservatives also, but white conservatives hear that and think, these black people are just complaining for no reason, they deserve all that stuff. And we see that reflected in the statistic given by The Hill of Republicans' opinion on Black Lives Matter. Americans' opinion on Black Lives Matter. So, according to The Hill, 57% of people view Black Lives Matter negatively. So, why would this be when Black Lives Matter is a movement that is against police brutality, and we clearly see from the statistics I just showed you that there is race-based police brutality in the United States? Why would anyone be in favor of that? And I think it's because white people are generally just blind to their privilege. They don't want to acknowledge that